Hi, developers. I've always appreciated the openness of Windows, but that openness has some challenges. Like, how does a developer get their app in front of as many customers as possible? And as a customer, how do I know which websites or applications I can trust? We introduced the Microsoft Store on Windows to solve some of these challenges. But we also heard from you that you wanted to be able to use your own MSI and EXE installers to be able to publish your traditional desktop apps into the store. These are apps written with most any technology which creates desktop apps today, including everything from .NET to C++, Pascal, Flutter, Java, and much more. And they're packaged in .msi or .exe installers. We refer to these collectively as Win32 apps. At Microsoft Build 2022, we announced the general availability of the Win32 app publishing program, which we had been proving out with select customers for almost a year. We learned a lot about your requirements during that time and have created a partner center experience which makes it as easy as possible to get your Win32 apps into the store and to get the app health analytics you want. Let's take a look. You get to your Partner Center dashboard by signing in and then going to partner.microsoft.com whack dashboard. The latest release of Partner Center now has a helpful dashboard with everything displayed here at the top level. We're going to go into the Apps and Games section. In the overview, you'll see a list of all the products you have in the different stages of publication. Click New Product and choose EXE or MSI app for your Win32 desktop app. Next, enter your app's name like you would for any store submission. Then you can check the availability of the name before reserving it should you wish to. Pick the markets where you want to make your app available. I want the whole world to enjoy Coloring in Alex, so I'm making it available everywhere, and also selecting the option to support new regions as they become available. Next, I'll pick a pricing model. This is an important step. This specific app is free with no subscriptions or other payments. If, however, you rely on any subscription services, even if those subscriptions are obtained outside the app, local laws require that you indicate that the app is a subscription app or has in app purchases as appropriate. We have more information about this in our documentation. All right, time to save. Do make sure you hit save on each step, not just next. You can tell when you've completed a step by looking for the check marks on the left. I should also mention that I'm using a pre-release version of the Partner Center site here. We're working on icons that are differentiated by more than color, so those may be different when you see them. Next, pick an appropriate category for your app. This will help with discoverability, so it pays to look at our guidance and also see how other similar apps are listed in the store. If your app collects any private information, you should declare that here. In many cases, a valid privacy policy URL is required. It's generally a good practice to provide a privacy policy even if you don't collect any information. It gives your users peace of mind. Make sure the URL is valid at the time of submission. When we get an invalid URL in this field, we have to reject the submission, and we don't like to do that. There are a few important product declarations to consider. If you rely on a driver or a Windows service, you need to declare that. If you've fully tested your app for accessibility, be sure to indicate that. Although it's a best practice to create truly accessible apps, don't simply check this box without doing that work, as we'll require it to pass all the accessibility tests if you do. If you need to note anything special for the certification testers, like demo account credentials or other notes, the notes field is where you put that. If you have any specific system requirements for your apps, like it must have a mouse instead of a touch screen or you require the use of a camera, indicate that here. You can also specify minimum memory and graphics specs to ensure your app is running on the class of hardware you expect it to. As part of the app submission, you'll be required to go through the age ratings questionnaire to create an appropriate rating for the app. Read each question thoroughly and answer each question truthfully. In the end, you'll get international age ratings which will apply to your app. If you change anything in your app which would change your responses, be sure to retake the questionnaire to generate a new age rating. For the package URL, be sure to provide a secure and versioned URL. Each version of your app needs to have a separate URL that is available to all markets and to Microsoft. Your app installer will be invoked from here. Each package may have a single architecture or maybe architecture neutral. We encourage you to support x64, ARM64, and x86 at a minimum. If your installer requires a parameter like /s to run in silent mode, specify it here. Otherwise, if it runs in silent mode by default, select that option as I have here. Next, pick the languages your app supports. This app supports several languages, including US and UK English, French, and German. Only pick languages for which you have specific support. Last step is to create the store listing itself. Store listings can be by language, so you can customize how it's presented. We'll run through just one language here. Enter a meaningful description for your app. This is what potential customers are going to see when they look at your app in the store. If this submission is an update to an existing app, be sure to indicate what's new in the appropriate field so customers can see all the hard work you've put into your application. Next, you can list specific features for your app to be called out on the product description page. Spend some time on the screenshots, more than I did here. The screenshot is one of the most important things in your app listing when it comes to informing the customer and enticing them to download the app. The screenshots must show the actual app in use. We recommend up to 10 high resolution images to showcase the app. The store logo shows up in store search listings and on the product description page for your app. It also shows up in web search when a store listing comes up in the results. Unlike UWP apps, Win32 apps or traditional desktop apps are installed from your CDN with the installer wrapped by store logic. Because of that, we require you to provide either a textual or URL version of your app's license terms. I'll use a URL here. With all the steps complete, we can now publish the app. It'll go through certification, and the status of the app will be shown in Partner Center as it progresses through certification and finally into publishing. That's how easy it is to publish your Win32 app in the Microsoft Store on Windows. Once your app is in the store, you can take advantage of great new features like app health and acquisition analytics, insights into installer return codes, and much more. We're looking forward to publishing your Win32 applications and helping you gain more insight into your apps. To learn more, visit aka.ms/WAC News Store. Thank you.